Now, I know this is a topic that a lot of people really don't like and start to tune out from straight away. But I'm really hoping that I can convince you that goals are definitely a worthy activity to undertake. Personally, I really love goal setting. Now, you might call them goals, dreams, visions, targets, whatever, resolutions even. It doesn't matter what label you put on it. Basically, what we're looking at is something that you would like to achieve, something you would like different, and then setting a plan for how you're going to go about and achieve that. Now, as I said, I do love goals. I also like the process of working towards goals. I like to get myself organised with lists, daily lists, weekly lists, shopping lists. I have to-do lists, I have various lists, and I find that really, really helpful. But I also find it really helpful to keep those lists flexible. They need to be able to adapt and change as need be. And your goals need to be like that as well. So you might set a goal, but as things change, rather than give up on the goal, you might need to adapt it, to have some flex there. And that's often one of the key secrets to actually achieving a goal. Now, goal setting is a learned skill. And while you set about achieving a goal, you're actually nurturing lots of other inner skills as well, like patience and persistence, the ability to practice and creatively problem solve, and organisational skills as well. Now, how do you actually go about sorting out a goal for yourself and achieving it? There are 9 steps that I like to look at, and this is really breaking it down into some detail. So first of all, getting an idea of what it is that you would like to be different in your life. What is it that you would like to change, an area that you would like some change on? So you might not know the specifics yet. That's okay. Simply identifying that particular part of your life that you would like to have some change. That's first of all. Second of all, keep your focus on what it is that you want changed, rather than all the problems that come up that might get in the way of you actually making that change a reality. So staying focused on what it is that you do want, rather than becoming overwhelmed with the problems that will get in the way. Now, step 3 is where you actually start to become specific about what it is that you would like. The key here is don't go too big, start with something small. So if you're looking at a large area of your life and there's some big changes you'd like, break that down and select one small area. So when we're setting what we call SMART goals, we're very specific. So the S in SMART stands for specific. So we choose something very specific, small, and we get very clear on that one small part of our lives that we would like to change. The M in SMART stands for measurable. So if it's something that you can measure, will make it so much easier for you to set up a plan and to actually achieve that goal and know when you've achieved it. So having a vague goal like, I want to get fit, you're not going to know when you've got there. It has to be something measurable. So what will it look like? What will it feel like? What will you be doing differently when you are fit? And that might mean, I'll be able to walk 2 kilometres. I'll be able to swim non-stop for 20 minutes. I'll be able to hike that mountain that I couldn't get to the top of the last time I tried. So being really specific and measurable is very important steps. It's got to be attainable. So we're working through the SMART goals. S-M-A, A stands for attainable. So if I was to set a goal that I want to run that marathon that I heard about that's on next month, that's probably not achievable or attainable for me right now because I haven't actually done any training for that. So that would be quite unrealistic. So make sure that the goal you set and the time frame you set around it is going to be attainable for you. The R in SMART is realistic. So, you know, once again, being real about what the goal is and how I might be able to achieve it. So it would be more realistic for me to say, I'd like to set a goal that I could run 5 kilometres non-stop, than, you know, being able to run a marathon next month. So being realistic is very tightly connected to being achievable or attainable. The T at the end of SMART stands for the time frame. So let's put a boundary around this goal. Let's not let it go on forever and ever and ever. Let's say when we're going to measure it, when we want to achieve it by. And that gives us a really good finish line or a deadline to work towards. And that's very helpful for us. We tend to achieve much better when we've got a time frame. But once again, that time frame needs to be realistic and attainable. So yeah, the first step, just going back what we've covered so far, is identify generally an area that you would like to change in your life. Second of all, staying focused on what it is that you do want rather than what you don't want or what all the problems are. And now setting that very specific SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's got a time frame. So they're the first 3 steps. Step 4 is to write it down or share it with somebody. When you keep your goals to yourself, they have a habit of being much less likely to come to fruition. So if you simply write it down, if you don't want to share it with anyone, write it down and make that visible. Go and check what you've written down every day. Keep it fresh in your mind, right at the front of your mind. Number 5 is know why you're setting this goal. Like, why is it important to you? You know, why do you want to be able to run 5 kilometres, or why do you, you know, want to be able to travel to the UK? What is it that is driving you and giving you the impetus for this goal? It's really important to keep that in mind. Keep your why in mind. A lot of people struggle with motivation and come to talk to me about their lack of motivation. Motivation is a feeling. It's you can't rely on it. It's quite unreliable. What you need to rely on is your commitment to your why. When you stay focused on that, motivation isn't quite such an issue. The 6th step in setting and achieving goals is now being able to break it down. So you've got your SMART goal. It's specific. You're focusing on your why. You're focusing on what it is that you do want rather than the problems. But let's break it down into little itty bitty steps so that it doesn't become overwhelming for us. So using that example of, if I'm going to set a goal to run 5 kilometres non-stop, what is it that I need to do first? It's probably not to go out and run 5 kilometres non-stop. It's probably to gradually increase how far and how fast I walk, gradually doing a bit more running, maybe doing a little bit of hill running, maybe going to a running club or a running group, or a trainer who can help me come up with a plan that's going to be best for me. It could be getting a running buddy. So there are lots of little steps that we could take that will help us get closer and closer to that overall goal. So once we've broken that down, it's time to step into it. Actually start taking these steps one by one and remembering baby steps. Rather than trying to do it all at once, focus on those little steps that you've broken your goal down into. Step 8 is creatively problem solve. There will be problems that come up, and this is where you need to use your creative problem solving skills, or your flexibility skills, or your ability to ask for help. This is where a lot of people will simply give up on the goal when it feels too hard or too much. But there are so many things you can do. If you stay focused on why this goal is important for you, then you can solve that problem. Or maybe you might have to modify that goal. It could mean extending the time frame out a little bit. It could mean changing your goal up a little bit, or some of those steps, and that's okay. Being flexible in that regard can be really, really useful in ultimately achieving your goals and your dreams. And last of all, when you've achieved your goal, being able to reward yourself. Now, a lot of us will feel a sense of internal reward, like we just feel so satisfied and good about ourselves. But there are also external rewards. So being able to cheer ourselves on, throw a party and celebrate you've achieved your goal, or actually going on your holiday, actually going in that marathon, going in the park run. Those might be rewards in themselves. But then once you've achieved that, being able to reward yourself in some other way and pat yourself on the back is really important. So look, here are the steps again to achieving your dreams and goals. Number one, identifying what area in your life you would like some change. Number two, stay focused on the change, on what it is that you would like, and not getting tripped up by the problems that come up into your mind. Step three is being really specific with your SMART goal. So having it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with a good time frame around it. Step four is write the goal down. It's a very, very powerful but very simple strategy to have. Number five is know your why. Your why is going to get you through rather than your motivation. Number six, break your goal down into little itty bitty steps and take them one step at a time. Number seven, step into your goal. Start actioning it. Be patient with yourself. Step eight, creatively problem solve any issues that come up. Be flexible. Don't give up. And step 9 is having some sense of reward, or something you can do to reward yourself at the end when you have achieved your goals.